Today we're going to talk about trash and recycling in Germany. And if you grew up in America and specifically in certain regions, this might be a real big culture shock to you. But they're very strict on recycling and anything that's like environmentally sensitive, right? Although they have a strict system, it's actually very straightforward. So I'm going to talk about the trash and the recycling that you have at your own house. I'm going to talk about glass recycling, and then what do you do with larger objects, right? Things that are bigger than you can stick in a can. Okay, now starting from the right, brown is bioabfall or biodegradables. That's pretty straightforward. And we have a nice picture diagram that kind of shows us what we can actually put in there. And it's really what you would expect. Grass clippings, apple cores, old cheese, old bread, everything but heavy meats. Those actually go in our dirty trash or a black trash can. Save that for later. Then you have blue for paper and cardboard. Pretty straightforward, but you don't want to put dirty paper and you don't want to put dirty cardboard. So that means old pizza boxes with greasy stains inside. They shouldn't go in there. They're actually not recyclable, so they should go in your dirty trash can. And then you have the gelb sack or yellow bag. And so these are free from your local town hall or your community center. If you live on base, they're free as well. Just go to the DIY store and you're going to put plastics, metals, styrofoam, and wax paper or like a milk carton. Those would all go in here. And these don't actually go into a can. They go off on the side of the curb and they get picked up on their own special day. And then black trash can is the catch-all. But basically anything that's dirty is going to go in here. This color scheme is universally found throughout Europe. So if you see a black trash can, you can put dirty diapers inside. You can put old food wrappings that are just caked with food. And anything that you wouldn't put in here is going to fall into there. Now, I covered everything except for glass because glass is totally different. Glass gets recycled. It actually gets recycled two different ways. And you got to be mindful because it'll cost you.
Glass is pretty straightforward as well. It's also color coded, and for some reason, probably legal, all glass in Germany is 3 standardized colors. There are obviously going to be exceptions to that, but 99% of the bottles that you see are either going to be green, brown, or clear, and those are very straightforward to follow. But before you recycle your glass, make sure you look at the label.
Okay, so before you try to recycle a glass bottle or a plastic bottle or even an aluminum can, you gotta be careful. And why is that? Because the Pfand, right? Or der Pfand. So the Pfand is the deposit on all of these items, right? This might come as a shocker, but even aluminum cans and plastic bottles have a Pfand or a deposit. And I think this is really kind of their way to keep the streets clean, and it's working because you'll never see trash in the same quantities that you're used to, just scattered about the street. So it's pretty cool. But as you can see, this is a Hefeweizen, right? And this beer actually states on the back, it's labeled that it has a 25 cents Pfand. So a 25 cents Euro Pfand, if I go take this down to the local grocery store where they have a deposit taking machine, I'll get 25 Euro cents. So that there's an incentive not to just break this or throw it in the trash. This bottle of beer I actually bought at the BX, right? Or the Class 6, the shopette. Now this one is marked for export. This one does not have a Pfand. If I stick this in the machine, the label isn't coded correctly, and so it's going to reject it. I'm not going to get any money back out of it. So the only thing I can do with this is drink it and then recycle it. Now, what about plastics? And this is a shocker, right? This is way different. So this Coca-Cola bottle, it looks like a regular American Coca-Cola bottle, except it has a 25 Euro cent deposit label. So if I stick this in the same machine, the machine will take it and give me 25 Euro cents credit. Likewise with this juice bottle, 25 Euro cents. And then even a simple beer can has a 25 Euro cent deposit. So it's pretty pretty universal. Now there are some exceptions, right? I've seen some cans, some bottles. Well, actually, a lot of bottles don't, but it's usually the kind of items that you buy in quantity. And you can see these rings here, and that's from the bottles just getting run through the process, that cycle of beer bottle life, right? And then lastly, this one's a little more interesting because this is a Dr. Pepper US marked soda can, right? But it actually has an extra label attached to it, and it gives it a 25 € fan. So this is unique, and you can see that they actually have the ingredients listed in German. So this one is like modified. And yes, you can actually find Dr. Pepper here in Europe. So they've made it overseas, and they're starting to become a little more prolific. But yeah, so if you make the mistake, you might be throwing money away by trying to do a good thing and recycle them. But you know, it still goes back into the system and it gets reused. So that's the beauty of this. And it keeps the streets clean.
So for all of your glass goods and even the plastic bottles that are recyclable with a deposit, if you go to your local grocery store, the German grocery stores, you can use a system where you simply put your bottle in, it reads it, and then it'll give you a voucher. So that simple plastic bottle is actually worth 25 euro cents. Print out my ticket, and then when I purchase today here at the grocery store, I actually get my 25 cents back, credit towards my purchase. So what about the big stuff? What about the things that don't fit in the trash can? Those can go to the recycling center. You can take those yourself. They're self-service, and every large village has one in some sort of proximity. Even if you live on base, the bases also maintain their own recycling centers. So while you're living in Germany, recycling's a must, but thankfully the Germans made it really easy for us. So if you have any questions about living in Germany or any comments, let me know and I'll try to get back to you. Thanks.